guys, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a wonderful month of May where all of us have been in lockdown, sitting in our homes. I hope you guys did a lot of reading because I think I did read a good number of books this month. So this month was very special because we had the Asian Readathon going on from 1st May to 31st May, and during the Readathon I had pledged 4 books to read, which would be available in the video which I made for the TBR for the Readathon. It's in the description box below. So basically I ended up reading 8 books this month and it's been awesome and I'm very happy about it. Let's just dive into all the 8 books I read this month. So the first book I read was The Legends of Casa by O.V. Vijayan. This book is about Ravi, who is the state assigned teacher for the only school in the village of Khasak. What follows is the interaction between Ravi and the villagers. It discusses a lot of socio-political issues, it discusses a lot of concepts via magic realism, and it was a very nice read. I kind of gave this book somewhere between 3.5 and 4 stars, and I really like this book a lot. Do check out the separate book review that comes along with this. It should be on the screen. The next book I read or listened to was Kim Jiyoung, born 1982, by Nam-Joo, translated by Jamie Chang. Kim Jiyoung is a young woman in South Korea, and it's basically her story from childhood to motherhood and all the obstacles she faces. It mainly deals with misogyny and patriarchy in the South Korean society, and I ended up giving this book 5 stars. The next book I read was again an audiobook called The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami. It is actually a very short listen, if you will. It's a short book actually. So this book is about this boy who goes into this library and he gets trapped in there because of this weird magic realism going on. Okay, so again, this is also a magical realism book in short. So yeah, I mean, it's basically how he's trapped in the library and things happen to him and his escape from the library. So it's all about his story when he's in the library. I kind of ended up giving this 3 stars and I liked it, but it was okay. It was not a great read, but it was nice. So yeah. The next book I read was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. This was one of the good reads this month because I enjoyed reading this book a lot. The story is about this mother-daughter duo who move in to a very posh neighborhood called Shaker Heights, and the tenant, Mrs. Richardson, and her interactions with these people, Eva and Pearl. It is basically a mystery plus literary fiction because there's a lot of discussion about motherhood, money, class, society in general in this whole context, and it talks about a mother-child relationship. So I really enjoyed reading this book, although there were a few parts of the book where I felt that that particular paragraph was unnecessary, but still it was present in the book. But overall it was a very nice read and I ended up giving 4 stars to it. The next book I read or listened to was Ghochar by Vivek Shanbhag, translated from Kannada to English by Srinath Perur. This book is about a man whose family runs a spice business called Sona Masala, and how they were initially pretty poor, but suddenly riches just enter their lives. They suddenly become rich overnight because of their business, and now they have new problems. Earlier the problems were more because they did not have money, and now they have new problems because they have money. It is a very interesting read, and the book is kind of very so this is contemporary fiction, by the way, and the reason I really like this book is the translation done by Srinath Perur is amazing. I mean, when you like stated, when you translate from one language to another, there are chances that you miss out on some portion of the original content. But this English translation did not feel like anything was missing. All emotions were conveyed perfectly by the authors and the translator. So it was an amazing read, and it is worth your time. I ended up giving Ghochar 4 stars for its amazing narration and unique plot. The next book I read was The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. This was a long time coming because I'm surprised by myself that I have not read this before, but yes, the Asian TBR gave me a chance to read this one. This book is about two friends, Ahmed and Hassan. Both of them belong to different castes or different tribes in Afghanistan, and Ahmed is a rich boy and Hassan is his servant. So it's the story of their friendship. It is the story in the backdrop of the Afghan war, the Soviet invasion, and the Taliban, all of them put together, and it tells you the story of these two friends over a period of about 30 years. It's a very interesting read, and I think everyone should read this book. This was the most impactful read for me of May, because I was literally crying at various places in the book. I ended up giving this book 5 stars. So the next book I read was A Quiet Girl in a Noisy World by Tung. I read this as an ebook, and it is a very, very sweet and cute book because it basically denotes all these situations introverts go through. It is actually a graphic novel with wonderful illustrations done by Tung herself. I really enjoyed this book, and if you're an introvert, it is a must read. I mean, even if you're not an introvert, you can read it to understand your introvert friends. I ended up giving the book 4 stars because it was cute, funny, and very relatable. So the next book I read was A Sea of Poppies by Amitav Ghosh. So this book is set in the backdrop of early British India, as well as the Poppy War and Zamindari in India. So it is a very nice literary historical fiction. The book encompasses so many characters, and it tells you their journey from their present situations till Ibis, which is the ship that will carry them as slaves to Mauritius. It is a very interesting read. I think if you want to read this, I suggest that get all the 3 books in the trilogy. So the first book is Sea of Poppies, the second book is River of Smoke, and the third book is Flood of Fire. This book kind of ends in a cliffhanger, so I cannot wait to buy the next book because I do wish to cherish a physical copy of this series because it is that good. I ended up giving Sea of Poppies 4 stars for its beautiful, picturesque narration, well-researched history, and more importantly, I cut that 1 star because this ended on a cliffhanger, and there's nothing imperfect or there are no much imperfections in the book, so it's worth your read. So yes, that's the end of the May 2020 wrap-up. I have been very, very thankful to the Asian Readathon this month because it's simply because of the Asian Readathon that I went in search of Asian authors and Asian books in general, and it was a wonderful epic adventure that I would not have thought I would have done anytime soon. Reading in general takes effort. You need to put a lot of effort into it, and these readathons just make me realize how you can enrich and improve your reading life just by selecting books that you've not heard of or books that you have not thought that you would have read before.